Hi guys, welcome back to another video for It's Girl Time. In today's video, I'm really excited because we are going to be talking about my approach to life. Before I forget, like and subscribe to my channel for more content. So first things first, and this one I mentioned in one of my previous videos, and it's appreciating everything, good and bad. And here's why. I feel like growing up, I used to take for granted a lot of things, and I didn't really realize like how lucky I was in everything that I had. And so once I learned to appreciate everything that I had at my disposal, everything that my parents had given me, I instantly got so much happier, because I feel like sometimes we are so caught up in the moment or caught up in whatever is going on in our lives, and we don't really stop and appreciate what we have around and the things that we previously had around but we no longer have. Learning to appreciate everything that you have is really important. It could be from like, you know, having your health, having a roof over your head, having food. You know, those things are very simple things that, you know, we take for granted sometimes because we're so used to having it that we never think of the possibility of it not being there. And I feel like when you apply that mentality of appreciating everything, you instantly become a lot happier because you realize the amount of things that you actually have, you know? And adding to that, not taking things for granted. And by the way, at least these two, they also apply for people. Appreciate the people that you have in your life, and also don't take for granted the people that have stuck by you, the people that love you and care about you, the people that have made you better some way or another, the experiences that you've undergone that have made you who you are today. I feel like those are all things that I've learned to appreciate and I'm diving a little bit into the next one, which is about failure. I've kind of redefined what failure means to me, just because I feel like we're so used to failure being a bad thing. And in reality, failure is a really good thing, right? Why? Because failure is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to do things differently next time, to like take a step back and kind of like reassess. And that is a good thing. Having the opportunity to take a step back and assess the situation and really see how you can do it differently, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. That's great. That is a good thing. And I feel like, you know, you shouldn't really feel bad for failing. You should just take it as a learning experience and just apply what you learned and move on, you know? I feel like sometimes we take failure so heavily. And actually what I've kind of like started to do and what I love to do, I love putting myself in situations where I know I'm gonna fail as like a hobby. For example, I used to take contemporary dance lessons. The amount of times that I fell flat on the floor, the amount of bruises that I got from like doing spins and tricks and whatever on the floor, dude, that was literally like learn to get back up. And I feel like failing in a fun environment makes you like not take it so seriously, and then when you fail in a more serious environment, you kind of know how to deal with it better because it's something you've already gone through. The next one is, this one I also mentioned in a previous video, and it's making the most of what I call the in-between. So let me explain what that is. The in-between, it's like your everyday, mundane, ordinary day, you know, nothing necessarily eventful is going on, nothing exciting is happening. It's just an ordinary day. Let's say, for example, that you're stuck in traffic. I take being stuck in traffic like a gift, because there is nothing that I love more than like karaokeing the shit out of being stuck in traffic by myself. You know how fun it is to just sit there and like sing at the top of your lungs and just like have a nice time. You can't do anything else. You're literally just stuck there, sitting and waiting. So why not just like put some music on, make the most of it. I also like to like look around and just observe the things that I naturally just like drive by normally, and I feel like that makes the experience so much better, because it no longer is like, oh, I'm stuck in traffic. It's like I have an opportunity to do something fun in the midst of not being able to do anything else, you know? Because I feel like, right, sometimes we let so much time go by that we don't really realize that it's going by, because it's like, oh, well, I have to clean, or oh, well, I have to do that. And we just kind of like spend our time going through the motions without feeling anything about it, really. And that's not a bad thing, you know, that's the way you live your life, cool. But I personally love making the most of everything and just like seizing every second. And I know that that sounds so corny and so tacky, but I love it. You're not gonna get that time back regardless of how you spend it, right? So why not do something fun? Why not do something a little different and just like go for it, right? And the next one, and this one kind of like goes off of this last one that I just talked about, and it's seeing the magic in everything. And I feel like I'm the type of person naturally that I just automatically see the good in something. I always try to like find the positive, like find the silver lining, find the good characteristics in people, the good things that make them a good person, and applying that to like everything. It's like making yourself excited for anything. Why would you sit around and wait for something exciting to happen when you have it in your hands to make the moment, whatever moment, exciting for yourself, you know? The next kind of thing that I do is, this one was a hard one for me, and it's going with the flow. I used to be the biggest control freak that ever walked this earth, okay? Like, I needed to know who, how, why, what, when, where, constantly, okay? I felt like I needed to have it all figured out. I felt like I always had to know what was going on, and it got to a point where it was just stressing me the fuck out to be like that because there is no way to have it all figured out. You can have some things figured out, you know, obviously don't just be like floating in space, but there's no way to have it all figured out all the time and have like so much pressure on myself to have it figured out, you know. And learning to go with the flow was one, very good for me. Two, took me a shitload of time to learn. And now it's just like, oof, smooth sailing, you know? We're not gonna worry about shit. We're not gonna be stressed out over things that we can't control. We're gonna go with it. So the next one is living in the present. And this is, wait, I need a mirror. I feel like this one really ties in with appreciating everything that you have and making the most of the in-between. Really, I feel like it all boils down to being present in the moment, you know, and really experience the moment and like what's going on, even if it's something that's not exciting, you know, because that moment is never going to come back. It's never going to come back. It's gone. Woo, goodbye, right? So, and if you don't make the most of it, then what? Your life is going to be a mashup of like uneventful moments that you could have made better, you know? I feel like living in the present is really important because it kind of gives you like the freedom to create whatever you want with the time that you currently have at your disposal. Next up, I want to talk about anger and how I kind of think about anger. Anger is a result of lack of control. For example, like you get angry at someone for not doing something, but why is it really that you're angry at that person? And it's because you can't control what that person does, right? That person did what they wanted to do or what they thought was best, which is different from what you wanted them to do and what you thought was best. And therefore you get angry because they didn't do things the way you wanted them to do it, right? And I feel like whenever I get angry, I try to come back to this concept because I feel like getting angry is a really big waste of time. It's a big waste of emotional energy. And we don't have time for that, you know? So the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about, and it's fully embracing who you are and not doubting yourself and not changing who you are because of situations that you've gone through. Personally, this was really important for me to learn because I feel like I used to be very much a perfectionist and I used to be like constantly trying to figure out how was it that I could be perfect and like constantly trying to fit into this made up mold of whatever I thought perfect was, right? And I didn't give myself the liberty to be me. And it wasn't pressure that other people put on me, it was pressure that I put on myself because of, you know, straight up being scared that if I was myself, people wouldn't like me. But I kind of feel like that's something a lot of people go through at some point in their life of like being insecure if they'll like fit in or not. Until going back to the F it video, if you saw it, until I learned to just say F it and embrace who I am. I feel like, especially nowadays, I've worked so hard to get to where I'm at in life right now that how could I not embrace who I am? And to that, I also want to touch on this a little bit. Let's say that someone took you for granted, right? Sucks if you've been through it, I'm sorry. But you shouldn't come out of that experience and like feel like you have to change who you are in order for that not to happen again. You know, sometimes, unfortunately, people are just shitty. And, you know, I feel like the important lesson there is to not let other people's actions or words affect who you are and what you do, right? You shouldn't feel the need to change something just because someone didn't appreciate it, you know? That's another one. Dude, saying it is what it is literally simplifies so many things. You don't have to make it a bigger deal than what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing is that sometimes we want to make a situation so much bigger than what it is because we have like all these emotions about it. And like obviously feeling your feelings is super great. I'm not saying it's not, but sometimes you really kind of have to like sit back and truly assess the situation and see if like everything that you feel for it is 100% necessary. That at least is just my personal experience. I'm a little dramatic, and sometimes I feel like I used to do this. Now I'm like a lot more chill about life. But I used to make a bigger deal out of like everything. And sometimes I would kind of make myself go through like a lot more emotional turmoil than what I needed to, you know? But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for joining me on this lovely day. And I hope you guys come back. Bye.